Bomar. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I was born and raised, and Elvis was a big part of our life. In fact, my sister-in-law, he was the best man at my sister-in-law's wedding. Elvis, I went to the same church where he went. And Elvis, a lot of people don't know how religious Elvis really was in his heart, because he would call pastors over from the church to bring them over to Graceland and talk to them for hours about God. In fact, one of the things that he did last in his life, just a few weeks before he died, is he had Rex Humbard over and he wanted to talk to him about the last days. And he was talking to him about the last days just a few weeks before he died. And Rex said and prayed with him that he might be prepared and ready for whatever would came. And that was Elvis's request. Friend, I want to tell you there was a reason for that. It's because he realized there was something important. It's not about what's all out there. It's about what's all in here. And he understood that. How many of you understand that? And a lot of people look at the Bible and they look at religion and they think it's so complicated. And it's not complicated at all. In fact, I'm going to take probably the simplest scripture known that almost every one of you here today already know. You've been saying it all your life. It's been printed on the back of funeral cards. It's been printed on wedding invitations. How many of you have ever heard of the 23rd Psalm? How many of you have got it memorized? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepared a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, and my cup runneth over. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's over 3,000 years old, but how many of you know that that is also a roadmap from where you are to where he is? You see, no matter who you are and what life you live, we all have the same desire. We want to be happy. We want to be fulfilled. We want to achieve things in our life. We all have that. And he said in the very first verse, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. We all have the same desire. The problem is that we choose different ways to get there. Bob Dylan said you got to serve somebody. And everybody right now is following something to achieve what they're looking for. The question is, what are you following? And this is such a great passage because it starts with a choice and it ends with a conclusion. He said, the Lord is my shepherd. Just take that first verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He's telling you how you can live a life and not be in want if you choose the Lord to be your shepherd. I don't know what you're following, but I chose a long time ago that the Lord is my shepherd. Take those words and parse them out. The Lord is my shepherd. Take it again. The Lord is my shepherd. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the one who created everything. And he took this earth of ours that he created just for us, put it on a 23.4 degrees angle, and then spun it at about 1,000 miles an hour, and then sent it on a rotation of about 584 million miles around the sun. And that's the one who I'm following. That's who I want to serve. The Lord is my shepherd. Right now, he said, the Lord is my shepherd. And I know we had a president one time that didn't understand what is, but friend, is makes all the difference. The Lord is my shepherd. You see, it's not the Lord was my shepherd. It's not the Lord will be my shepherd. What matters is he your shepherd? Right now, in whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing in your life, the Lord is my shepherd. How about this one? The Lord is my shepherd. Oh boy, that could open up a whole can of worms, because there's a lot of different my's in this room. My is different from yours. It's my life with my scars and my mistakes and my problems and my hurts and my wants. But the Lord said he's my shepherd. When you walk after him and follow him, he takes you just like you are, because he wants to be your shepherd. You don't have to live like somebody else. You don't have to follow somebody else's rules. You just follow the shepherd and he'll be your shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. He's not a Lord that wants to beat you down with rules and regulations that keep you from knowing him. Instead, he wants you to trust him to where you have such a relationship with him that you don't want to walk out of his will. You want to get as close to him as possible. Why? Because he's your shepherd. You know, in the Middle East, when they have shepherds out there, the shepherd would build a wall about this high, and he would build it all the way around out of rocks, and he would cause his sheep to get inside that, what they call the sheepfold, and he would leave a little opening in between the two walls as it would come around, and he would keep his sheep safely in there, and he would build a little opening so they could come in and go out. But you see, at night, he had to do something about that. And so the shepherd would lean on one side and put his feet up against the other, and the shepherd became the door that protected his sheep. That's why Jesus said in John, I am the door. I'm the door of the sheepfold. I'm where you come in and go out. I am your shepherd. I'm going to protect you. When you need protection, the Lord is my shepherd. And every morning when those sheep would walk out that little opening, the shepherd would grab each sheep and call him by his name. And he would rub and caress his face and look down into the eyes of that sheep. You know why? Because by looking into the eyes, they could see if there was any parasites or any sickness in that sheep. And while he would look into his sheep's face, he would look into his eyes, he would call him by his name. You see, how many of us have learned how to get up in the morning before we walk out to go eat our graze and go get whatever it is we need to get? How many of you stop at the door and say, Lord, here I am. Put my head in your hands. Look into the windows of my soul. Look into my eyes and make sure there's nothing unclean in me. I want you to call me by my name. How many of you know what that's like to know that God knows your name? They said that if a shepherd would blindfold it, he could touch his sheep on the face for a few minutes and he could tell who it was even if he was blindfolded. Well, you know that God can't be blindfolded. You can try, but you can't blindfold God. He sees everything. But friend, I want to tell you what, we can get blindfolded sometimes. But even if it was available, and even if it was possible to blindfold God, that's okay, because if you can get where he can touch you, he said, just let me touch you and I'll know who you are. God knows who you are. And you can trust him. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. How do you get to that place? How do you get to the place where you're without want? He said he actually starts with healing us first. And then he wants to guide us into what we can be. You know, there's a study done of people dying, and there was always 3 questions that people always had before they died. Did I love? Did I live? And did I matter? Did I love? Was I connected? Did I have a relationship? Was I able to find that? Did I live? Did I really use my life, or did I just survive? And did my life matter? Did I love? Did I live? And did I matter? You see, that's what God does want to give to us. And it's all right here in the 23rd Psalm. It's a map from here to there. And here's how he does it. He starts with us. He said, first, I want to make you lie down in green pastures. You see, we get in trouble because we want to control everything. It's the only place in that psalm that he says, I'm going to make you do anything. And God said, if you want me to help you, I got to make you lay down. That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to lay down in green pastures. We want to drive the ship. And that's what gets us in all of our trouble. Don't look at me. I can barely see you, but I know where you're at. You're the one that causes all the problems, not God. They come to me, Pastor, they're blaming God for this. And I said, wait a minute. You're the screw up, not him. You see, he said, let me make you lie down in green pastures. And once I make you let go of the steering wheel, then maybe I can lead you. And if I make you lie down in green pastures for a few minutes, maybe you'll trust me long enough to follow me. Because if you'll follow me, I'll lead you beside still waters. That word still waters, you know what it meant? It came from a Hebrew word that meant to sparkle. Have you ever looked at a lake that was so flat and then the sun shining on it? It looked like diamonds on that lake. He said, listen, that's what I want to do in your life. I want to bring the sparkle back to your life. He said, if you'll follow me, I'll lead you beside still waters. I'll put the sparkle back in your life. And he said, and once you let me do that, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. This is the place where we don't have anything to do with it. Notice that. First, he said, I got to make you lie down. We have to lie down. Next, he said, you got to lead you beside still waters. We have to follow. But the part about restoring, we don't have to do anything. You know why? Because we can't restore anything. We do good to restore a coffee table. But God said, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can restore your life. And the word restore means to roll back time. How many of you want that? He said, I can roll back time in your life. If you think you've made mistakes and it's unforgivable or things that have done and your happiness is over, he said, don't worry about that. I'm the one that restores you. You see, so then he heals us. And then he said, let me show you how to make your life matter. He said, because then I want to lead you in paths of rightness. I didn't say it wrong, I said it right. Of righteousness means a path of rightness. He said, I'll teach you how to walk right. And then he said, yes, though you'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Hey, wake up, honey. You're not the only one. He said, yes, I will walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Yes, you will be there. But you won't be by yourself. And you're not the only one that's been there. But don't worry about it. Because the key word is through. You don't camp out there. You can be a victim and try to live in your self-pity and victimhood, but you don't have to. Because he said, I'll be with you. I'll walk you through that valley. I'll walk you through it, all the way through. And my rod will direct you, and my staff will comfort you. And he said, and then I can prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And that means I can show you who to forgive and how to get forgiveness, and we can calm that out. And once you get that done, he said, then I can anoint your head with oil. He said, I can start show you who you are and what you want to be in life. I can open up doors like you've never seen. And he said it'll be so much that your cup, it'll start to overflow. Not from out to in, but from in to out. And then it ends with this, and I want to close right here. He said, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Do a history account. Look at Bill Gates and the others who made more money than they can ever use. But when life starts to wane to its end, every one of them begin to give all that money away. You know why? Because it doesn't matter anymore. You know what matters? Is did my life matter? But here, if you're the poorest person in this room, he said, if you make me your shepherd, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. All my ministry, I used to think that meant if we follow him, the blessings will follow us and overtake us. Right? That's not what it meant. It meant goodness and mercy will follow us. We will leave something behind us everywhere we go. Our life will matter because we've had him inside of us. So much, to such an extent, that everybody that sees us will see him. And when they see us, goodness will follow us. When they see us, mercy follows us because we carry his message. And he made us have a relationship with him. Our life is now full of love. And we lived through our tribulations with him by our side. We truly lived. And goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. We matter. I'm going to ask you a question. Who are you following? Who are you serving? Oh yeah, there's a small part at the end. I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever. See, heaven is just a consolation prize. Life is right now. And if you do all of that, you'll love, you'll live, and you'll matter. And when it's all over, he'll look at you and say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Amen? How many of you want that in your life? Amen? All right, lift your hands. Lord, I pray, God, you touch every person here. Touch them right now. Every person that they've got a need in their life, that you would touch them and minister to them. If they haven't been following you, let them follow you. Let them serve you. Let them trust you as their shepherd. Let them not follow the things that will guide them away from you, but let them follow you so that when they get to that time, they can say, I shall not want. In Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. How about some more Elvis?
That was great. Wasn't that good?
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.